This is obvious response, and today we are going to do a short tutorial on preparing our fields in order to get 100% yield bonus every time. So as you can see here, this is a harvested wheat field and it needs lime, it needs plowing, and there are weeds growing on this field. So yeah, it basically needs the full treatment, and the tools that we will be using today are here. So we have our tractor, then we have the lime spreader, the fertilizer spreader, mulcher, our plow, stone picker, seeder, and the roller. So these are the tools that we will be using in order to prepare this field. And this seeder is direct drill. So you can directly drill seeds into the soil without cultivating or plowing or anything of that sort. So we will do a portion of this field with the direct drill, and we will prepare the rest of the field in a proper manner, and then we can see the difference in the yield bonus. So let's start off. So let us get into our tractor, and we will start with lime first. Our lime spreader is here at the field. Let's unfold this and let's apply lime. So this is step number one while preparing your fields. If your field needs lime, you should apply lime to your field. You can check from the menu here. So if it needs lime, it will show you this color, and as you apply lime to the field, the color will eventually disappear. All these fields need lime, but we are just preparing this field today. So yeah, let's wait for a couple more passes on this field, and we will leave the last area as it is, so that in the end we can compare the results of a well prepared field and a field with no preparation at all. So the last strip on the left is what we will leave, and we will seed that directly, and then we can easily see the difference. So yeah, let me get that corner first, and then we will move on to fertilizer. So here we are with our fertilizer spreader, and we are going to apply one application of fertilizer on this field. So there is a bigger version of this fertilizer available with more capacity, and it has a working width of 42 meters. So it is suitable for both smaller as well as larger fields. Another thing to note about this tool is it has the option to customize the working width on the go. So let's fertilize the whole field, even the section that we will not prepare completely, because we still should have 100% fertilization on that strip as well. So this will give us 50% fertilization at the moment, and our seeder there has um, a fertilizer tank, so that will give us the rest of the 50% fertilization. when we seed the ground. So we don't have to do this twice. The second application will be done by our seeder itself. So the next step in the process is mulching. So there are a lot of mulchers available with different working widths. So this is the one I am using here. And the mulcher, what the mulcher does is it just turns over the topsoil and mixes it with the fertilizer and the lime that we have applied to the field. It doesn't dig into the soil, it just turns over and makes a mixture of uh, whatever is the crop stubble that is left from the previous harvest, the lime, and the fertilizer that you have applied. So that acts as a fertilizer in itself and promotes crop growth. So, yeah, let's wait for this to finish and then we move on to the next step, which is plowing. So, we will not mulch the area that we are going to direct drill. So, the next step in our field preparation is plowing, and this is one of the bigger plows that I have. So, plowing gives you an additional benefit that even if you don't plant anything on this field for a while, weeds will not grow if you have plowed your field instead of cultivating it. But plows are big, they need a lot of power, they are slow, so this takes quite a while. But yeah, if you have periodic plowing on, you will need to plow your field from time to time. If you don't want to plow, you can switch that setting off. But plowing is always the best option. It is the slow but the best option because um, it saves you the hassle of dealing with weeds. So you don't need any um, chemicals or any other tool to deal with any weeds growing on your field because in a plowed field, uh, no weeds will grow. And again, it mixes everything on the top layer with the soil, so everything that we have mulched together now mixes with the soil. One thing that does happen when you plow a field is you will get these small stones that will surface. So because the plow digs into the soil, the more you plow a field, the bigger the stones will get. So these you can check on the map. So yellow are the smallest ones, then orange and red are the biggest stones that you will get. So eventually you will also need a stone picker to gather those stones. You can also roll them into the ground or you can turn the field stone off in the menu. But if you just leave them like this and you seed over them, then your seeder gets slightly damaged because it is running through these stones while it is seeding. So let's wait for this field to get plowed and then we will start with the stone picking and I will see you in the next step. So our field is plowed and you can see that I have plowed it just where it was mulched and rest of the field is as it is. So the next step now is to collect the stones that have come up and you can actually sell these stones for money. So that's basically free money for you, provided you collect it from your fields, and this will give a nice texture, similar to what we get after seeding or rolling to the field, and it will pick out all the stones which are there. You can turn the field stone off in your settings if you don't want these stones to appear on your field. So this step might be optional for people who are playing with field stones off, but if you have them on and you plow your fields, you will always get some stones that come up when the soil is turned by the plow. So there are a number of uh, stone pickers available. Modded stone pickers also have unrealistic working width. One of them is from the Colossus Harvester pack that I use on my series on Farming Simulator 22 on the channel, and that has unrealistic capacity as well as unrealistic working width, which makes this process a little less time consuming. So the seeder that we will be using today is the Avatar 1225 SD, and this has a working width of 12 meters, and it comes with a fertilizer tank, so it can seed and fertilize at the same time, and also it can seed directly. So this is a direct drill seeder, so you do not need to do any plowing or cultivating when you want to use this. So while the stone picker works on the field, let us start seeding. So in this tutorial we will be seeding wheat, and this seeder will provide the second layer, second application of fertilizer while it is drilling the seeds in the soil. So as the seeder passes, you can see that our field will get 100% fertilized. So we have a 98% yield bonus before rolling. So our seeder is doing its job and the field still needs rolling. And once we are done with it, uh, we should have 100% yield bonus, which is what we are going for. So let me just check on the seeder. So seeding and fertilizing will give a nice darker texture to the soil. So you can see the difference where it is not seeded and where the seeds actually are while you're working your fields. Our seeder is now direct drilling into the part of the field which we have not prepared. So this section here, it has lime and 50%, 54% fertilization, whereas if you move here, this still needs lime and has 50% fertilization. So we did not prepare this anyhow. So weeds are growing on it. It needs plowing, it needs rolling, it needs lime, and the yield bonus is 43%. Here the yield bonus is 65 to 71%, whereas if you move here, yield bonus is 98%, and our seeder is just finishing up on the field, and our roller is right there, which we will use and which will be the last step of preparing our fields. And another thing which I wanted to show you guys is if you accidentally seed again on the part which you have already seeded, you might get this texture, which is, if you see, is similar to the texture which we have on the part of the field which we have not prepared. So you might get this texture, but don't be worried, it will not reduce your yield bonus. So everything will remain the same. It's just that the game uh, gives this texture if you seed again on the part where you have already seeded. So this is a frequent question, and it concerns some players that whether or not if we seed again on where we have already seeded, the texture changes but nothing else will change on the field. So do not worry about this. So you can see this is one time seeded, so the texture is this part I have run over it again, so the texture has changed but everything remains the same, whereas this still has a 43% yield bonus. So let's hop in to our roller and let's finish the final step of field prep. So this is our roller. We have two options of rollers in the shop, and this is the smaller one, but it still has a decent working width. So we have two options here. This is the first one that I'm using. It has a working width of 12.3 meters. So works well on small, medium and large fields. This has almost double the working width, 24.3 meters, and might be a little difficult to manage on fields which have trees around them, or fields which do not have a lot of turning space around them. Another thing to note is this should not be confused with these rollers. So these are grassland rollers which are smooth, they don't have any ridges on them and are mostly used on grass fields, whereas these rollers they have ridges on them and they are used for your crops. So once the rolling is done, all the steps of the field prep are completed, you can see there is 100% yield bonus. So that is what this tutorial is all about. So if you follow these steps and prepare your fields properly, you will always get 100% yield bonus. So in order to summarize, lime, fertilize, mulch, then pick out stones if you need to, then plow, seed your crop, and then roll the field to get 100% yield bonus every time. So if your texture has been messed up because you have reseeded again where you had already um, seeded once you roll it, the texture will come back and your field will look consistent again. So guys, we are towards the end of our tutorial, and this single field has different paths that have been treated differently. So starting here, this is the part where everything has been performed, all the steps have been followed, and you can see that we have 100% yield bonus. But as we move towards the right, this will change because there is some part which has weeds growing because it wasn't plowed. There is then there is another section which needs lime, plowing, and weeds are growing on it. And then this section right here is the fully untreated one. We have just planted seeds on this and have done nothing at all. So we have weeds growing, it needs lime, it needs plowing, and it needs rolling. So those are the different areas of the field, and you can see everything on the map here. So this section here needs lime as well as it needs rolling. The another strip on the left has been rolled, but no lime has been applied to it. Moving to the next strip, so it only has a single layer of fertilization, and yeah, it doesn't need lime and doesn't need rolling. And the major section of field number 43 has received the full treatment, so that is where we are going to get 100% yield bonus. So those are the different uh, types of productivity that you can obtain. If you skip any of the steps, the yield bonus might vary, but if you follow all the steps properly, you will for sure get 100% yield bonus every time. So let's fast forward to the next month and watch um, the field become ready to harvest. So I'll quickly head over to the safe house here and sleep for a month. So we are into the month of September and our seeds have started to grow. So as you can see, there are no weeds here, but as you move this side, you will notice that the texture changes because the weeds are growing and now they can no longer be removed by using weedicide. We need a hoe to remove this, and this strip here looks basically like grass. Still has weed growing on it, but there are a lot of weeds in here. So that is what 100% yield bonus field looks like, and this is something which is not 100%. So let's fast forward a couple of months until this field becomes ready to harvest. So welcome back guys, and our field, our wheat crop is ready to be harvested, and you can just tell by seeing from here the different states of the crop depending on how the preparation of the field was done. So this area all through and through is 100% yield bonus area, and as you start moving towards the right, you can see all the weeds growing, and these are large weeds and they are surely deteriorating the yield bonus on this field. It goes as low as 24% with 50% fertilization, and as you move towards the left, you can see the well treated field, well prepared field will always give you 100% yield bonus. So that's all from me now. Hope this guide is helpful in preparing your fields. If you like the content, please subscribe to the channel. If you have any suggestions, you can always leave them in the comments and I will have a look at them. But in the meantime, this is me signing off. Take care. Cheers. Bye bye.